It's time to look in the mirror because we are going to be talking about reflectors. Welcome to the Human Design Energy Type series, and today we're going to be talking about one of the 5 Human Design Energy or Aura types, and that type is reflectors. Now, reflectors make up about 1 to less than 1% of the population. They are our most rare energy type. They are here to show us what is healthy and what is working in our collective, not just within themselves, but in the world. They are so important and are actually the mirror of humanity. To understand reflectors a little bit more, we need to be able to understand how their energy is structured and also what their aura is like. So to begin, reflectors have, out of the 9 centers, 0 of them are defined or colored in, meaning that all 9 centers are white on the chart. They will have gates colored in, but they do not have any channels or centers colored in. Their aura is actually sampling and resistant at the same time. We could think that since all 9 centers are undefined or open, that they are the most conditioned type out of all 5 of the human design types, but that's actually not true. This is because with the sampling and resistant aura, they're actually designed to sample the environment and the people and the energies around them, but their aura is also like Teflon tough because as they're sampling, they still are able to empty and clear out at the end of the day. It's almost like a reflector. It bounces off of them. So they're able to be in it, sample it, but then give it back almost. What's beautiful about reflectors is that you are this completely open vessel. The people that you're around, the environment that you're in, you take in this energy. You get to experience the wide range of humanness. That's emotions, energy, thoughts, love, everything. You get to experience it all and gain the wisdom from all of these experiences. And then at the end of the day, you get to clear it out. You get to come back to who you are. And sometimes as a reflector, it's hard to know who you are because you are constantly feeling into who everybody else is and who the environments around you are. And this can be very difficult in relationships, friendships, family, partners, because you're taking in their energy and then reflecting their own energy back to them. So a lot of times they're seeing things with you that they don't like, but it's not you. It's them seeing themselves in a mirror and they don't realize it. You are the only energy type that is a lunar being, meaning that you experience the cycles of nature just like the moon does, because the moon actually travels through all 64 gates on the body graph within the 28-day lunar cycle. And you experience the moon's energy in these 64 gates because of your openness. So you're taking in energy from the moon, the people around you, and the environment you are in at all times. It's really a cool practice to every day at the end of the day journal out, who were you today? What did you experience today? What emotions did you feel? What energy did you feel? Even take a look at the gates that the moon traveled through today and see how did those energies show up in your experience for that day. And this is super helpful for you to then come back and really truly, when you're clearing out, when you're emptying out, to know who you are at your core, to know what your energy feels like, what the empty vessel feels like, and not what you're reflecting back from other people. So, knowing this, let's dive deeper into the reflector strategy, which is the same as the reflector's authority, which is to wait a lunar cycle. So, when you have a decision to make or you are looking to make a change in your life, it's important to follow this strategy of waiting a lunar cycle so that you can truly, fully experience the full range of human frequencies. Because the 64 gates that the moon travels through the lunar cycle does give you the full range of the frequencies that you are meant to experience. And when you've been through all of them and you gain clarity across the 28 days of the lunar cycle and feeling what has been the most consistent feeling about this decision or this change, this is what's going to help you find clarity if it is the correct change or decision for you to make. This doesn't mean that you're not eating for 28 days because you have to wait a lunar cycle to make a decision about what restaurant you want to go to, or going to the supermarket, or going out to lunch with friends. This is about the big major changes and decisions and investments in your life. And while this is difficult, it's also, again, about going back to that daily practice that we just talked about and reflecting every single day on what is making your energy special for that day. Who were you today? What did you experience? What gates did the moon travel through? And did you feel those energies in the high frequency, the low frequency? How are you feeling about the decision as of today? Because tomorrow you could have a completely different experience with the decision that you're trying to make. So it's again coming back to that. Now, since you are so closely tied with humanity, you are like humanity's barometer almost. Your not self theme comes into play when you're feeling like this bad negative energy in the environment or the people that you're around. You feel this utter disappointment. Like you were hoping for people to make better, more healthier choices, to stand up for what they believe in, to value life over everything else, to know what's healthy for their bodies, etc., etc. But yet you see people making decisions that are not in the best interest of themselves and the world. And so then you start feeling this utter disappointment in humanity. This not self theme also shows up when you personally thought something was true about your life, like you loved playing soccer or you loved going to the beach, and then all of a sudden you just don't love doing it anymore. And that's because you are this fluctuating being. And so you feel disappointed that this is not something that you love to do anymore, that something that you used to find enjoyment in is no longer something that you enjoy. This also can come up when there's people in your life that no longer feel aligned to you. So friendships might just fall away, and this can be very disheartening for you because somebody who you truly were able to have a soul connection with just no longer is someone who's supposed to be on your path anymore. Because again, your energy is ever fluctuating. And so this is very disappointing to you when you realize that somebody is just not aligned with your energy anymore. And it can make you feel like life is meaningless and pointless. But it's coming back to asking yourself, who am I at my core? What is my purpose in life? What am I here to bring to the world? And why am I feeling this sense of disappointment? Am I trying to force something? Am I taking radical self-responsibility? Am I trying to force something that's not meant to be? That's not easy and delightful. So when we think about this, we can come into the signature theme for reflectors, which is when things do turn out the way that you were hoping, when things do stay a little bit more consistent across time for you, you feel surprise. When people do things that are unexpected to you, like you expected them to act a certain way that would disappoint you, but instead they chose to do something that was just so heartfelt and incredible and amazing that you just feel this surprise and delight in who they are. This is where your signature theme comes into play. This also shows up internally when you are taking the time to reflect on who you are every day and clearing out your energy. Because when you're trying to force consistency, when you're not a consistent person, you're not meant to be consistent. You're meant to flow and fluctuate and live life with an openness and expectation of surprise and delight every day. But when you close yourself off to that and you're trying to be rigid and structured and consistent, then you're of course going to feel your not self theme of disappointment. But when you allow yourself to be surprised, when you allow yourself to be open and not rigid and live life with this lack of expectancy, that's when this surprise and delight can come in. And this frequency allows you to bring more surprise and delight in, because your signature theme is not a barometer of when you're in alignment or when you're not. It's actually coming back to reflect on when you're out of alignment. What can you do? What environment can you be in? What people can you be around? How can you clear out the energy that you're taking in that's making you feel disappointed? And intentionally choose to do something that's going to bring you back into that frequency of surprise and delight. Back into that openness of the world is at my fingertips and I get to fluctuate and flow with it. You get to intentionally choose that frequency. And you can learn more about this in my free Back to Basics Masterclass, which is in the links below, where I dive deep into how frequency really is a way to master our manifestation. And I even provide an amazing somatic frequency meditation that is just magic. So I invite you to check that out in the link below. But this does come back to, again, you intentionally choosing to feel surprise and delight by doing things that bring you that feeling. So if you are a reflector, I would love to hear about your experience below in the comments and share your biggest takeaways. And again, I invite you to check out the free Back to Basics Masterclass, where we go over the energetics and frequency of your type, strategy, and authority, and how important those frequencies are to really master manifestation in a way you've never experienced it before. If you'd also prefer for me to just share all of the energetics of who you are with you and hand everything about your strengths, your gifts, your prosperity, and your magnetism to you on a silver platter in an epic 2-hour reading, you can always book that also in the link below. It has been a pleasure being with you, and I will see you next time.